job training, different.
We've not taken advantage. And I say, let's bring it.
Right on.
Is she with
EDA.
EDA? Yeah.
She's
Oh, yeah.
she's
Yep.
sharp,
Sure.
sharp lady. So that was a good network.
We got 4, we might as well. Good evening. Today is August 11th, 2025. The time is 7:05. Call the Nome Common Council regular meeting for this date to order. Mr. Clerk, would you call the roll to establish a quorum?
Roll call, Councilmember Henderson.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Martinson said that he would not make it.
Okay.
Councilmember Miller said that she would not make it.
Okay,
Councilmember Green.
Here.
thank you.
Councilmember Piscoya.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Move on to the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion. I'll second.
Very fine, thank you. Roll call, please.
Okay, first by Henderson, seconded by Councilmember
Green.
Green.
Yes.
Uh,
Sorry, I forgot that. That's what I usually say.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Green.
Yes.
Councilmember Piscoya.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you.
Pass.
The next is approval of the minutes. We have July 14th and July 28th. Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
Motion. Second.
Councilmember Henderson, Councilmember Johnson, a roll call, please.
Councilmember Green.
Yes.
Councilmember Piscoya.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. We have one communication from the Alaska Alcohol and Marijuana Control Office that the AV Club has submitted the renewal for the 2025-2026 cycle. And not heard any issues that the city has had with them. Does the council wish to take any action? Probably several of us need to say we're members of A and B. So moving on then to citizen comments. For the members of the audience that would like to address the council this evening. I think people are rained out. Thank you. We'll move on then to new business. We have a Canon Financial to waive an appeal deadline.
So we need to
Can you tell me
resubmit to
this?
Board of Equalization for this. Because it is a waiver of property tax appeal deadline.
So regarding Robert's Rules of Order, can we even do that?
I guess my question is, we set the BOE for a certain number of days each year, and when we had our last day, we concluded and closed the BOE for the year. Can you tell us what the...
What's the issue?
Yeah.
What's the complaint?
They made an error on their evaluation when they submitted it.
Personal property?
It was a considerable error.
Lot. Thousands,
Yes,
hundreds of thousands,
tens of thousands.
tens of thousands.
Yeah, can we get the detail, or do we have to?
Well, if it can't be considered because the appeal deadline is passed and that's that, then it really doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The attorneys told me at the end of last week that the deadline is the deadline. You can choose to waive.
Right.
However, Pandora's box.
Yep.
But others can't
Have we
be.
ever waived the deadline for BOE?
Not that
Not that I'm aware
Best
of. And so my recommendation as the representative of the city and the assessing office is to not grant the waiver of the
And is
deadline.
it possible to take it up in next year's cycle, or is that?
Well, that would be for next year's, but this is basically closed out. So it would be next year's if there's an issue or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I guess there's two different, I mean, because this is a personal property.
Business,
The declaration form.
Business and
sounds like
personal property.
Business property.
Yeah, but it's not part of our valuation.
It is.
Yes,
Oh.
We do valuations.
yeah.
Yeah. but we
Excuse me, I
don't-
guess I'm saying our property tax valuation is the personal part of that formula, or the thing we send to the state saying here are full and true values?
Of which like school funding is based off
Okay.
of.
We do real property and then we do business and personal property.
I see.
And that's included in that
Well, quick
overall.
question, have we ever brought up personal property in the Board of Equalization?
Not to the best of my knowledge.
As far as somebody coming in.
People don't
Yeah.
usually appeal it,
It's
but,
unusual for that in
but
my,
it could be.
yeah.
Okay.
That's the venue for them to appeal it.
Okay.
So if no motion is made here,
And it's the same as it being denied.
Yes. I've never had a deadline change in 30-some years.
Well, we have,
It's just
all right.
dangerous in my, you know,
Sounds like a legitimate concern,
yes,
unfortunately,
they missed the deadline. Yeah.
especially if it was substantial.
Right, well, so they did not want to accept my explanation that they had missed the appeal deadline. And the explanation that they did give was not,
They have so many.
here's the letter right here.
Yeah.
So if I may read it, Mr. Mayor?
yes, please, if you would.
Hi, Gant. Gant Financial Services Incorporated is requesting a waiver of the appeal deadline for tax year 2025. The reason for the request is we do not have a record of receiving the Nome assessment, and as we have never had issues with our Nome returns, we did not realize there was a problem with the return. Gant Financial Services has assets in over 50 states and can receive 100 assessments or more per week for the first few months of the year. Some taxing authorities use their bill as the assessment, and which ones do change from year to year, which assessments are missing. I realize that they're a big company and they have a lot of assets. They obviously made an error, and I don't disagree that it was an error to a certain extent. I think that they're claiming things that they can't claim, like exemptions on things that aren't exempt. And so I would have a problem with their valuation anyway. However, we missed it, we misplaced it, whatever that may be. It's still past the appeal deadline. If they didn't receive anything, they should have contacted us. And my
Property
assumption,
taxes, the valuations are self-reporting.
and they do self-report every year. Now, one of the things that I noticed is that there's an address change from the new address that they gave me. However, I don't recall us being notified that there was a change in address of their business until after the fact. And so I can only send it where I'm aware of it needing to go. And if they change the address after the fact, they need to let us know, otherwise I can't send it to the correct place.
So just to clarify, they self-report this,
Yeah.
and they did report a number?
Yeah,
Okay,
but they reported a full value without depreciation, without anything taken into consideration, which is why
They made
it's about double what they typically would have declared.
So they don't really explain that in their letter.
No.
What
They-
they explain
they
is
don't.
something different than that.
Our code errs on the side of taxation. And so that's how I decided this, is that I'm sorry that you made a mistake. I don't have the authority to, I don't have the authority to make a change by that much. And all provisions for which they could have appealed this, it's already passed. And so as far as I know, we followed the law the way that we should and how our code is written. And yeah, they didn't like that answer and wanted to appeal to a higher authority. And so I contacted our attorneys and said, what higher authority is there that can make this type of decision? And essentially they said, well, the BOE is the only board that can grant this. As we have in the past, the council sits as the Board of Equalization for our city at the moment, unless we were to, select one in the future. But, yeah, we certainly do not want to set a precedent of just
Change the deadline.
inundating the council, AKA board, with anybody requesting at any time, because that is not how the process works.
Because when we waived deadlines in the past, it still has, essentially been to accept an application, and we hadn't gone through our process.
And that's true. So if the deadline were to be waived, what would then happen is it would go back into the assessor's hands to evaluate and or negotiate. I'm not sure that we would be able to come to any sort of conclusion that they would agree with, as I don't agree with the valuation they put and how they wrote things up. But that's neither here nor there. If we were not able to come to another understanding, it could then go to the BOE to hear the actual appeal itself and make a determination. I see it being something that could be an effect of having a lot of extra work on the council that's not necessary.
So, was the payment due, or is the payment due for, are they overdue now on a payment?
Yeah, they're overdue.
Okay. It's my feeling that the BOE is closed and that we cannot go back there. So if they pay and maybe they argue they, because of whatever, that they don't want penalty or interest, something like that, that might go back to you for some discussion, but is there a motion to recess into the Board of Equalization to hear a waiver of appeal deadline by Ken Financial Services? Hearing no motion, this will not be considered. Thank you. Okay, the next item is Resolution 25-08-01. Would you read this by title, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, Resolution 25-08-01, a resolution authorizing the city manager to approve adjustments made by the city clerk in order to provide timely services to taxpayers and maintain tax accounts.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt Resolution 25-08-01?
I'm gonna make the motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Councilmember Johnson, Councilmember Green, discussion.
Can we get an explanation from the city manager?
Well, some of it, and Dan approached me with it, is these are usually pretty small or smaller amounts, or they've been out there for a long time. So it's almost like cleaning the books up. If I want to just ask Dan to get some more detail from how it impacts his office.
There's been a lot of cleanup that needs to happen in our tax accounts. People passing away, no longer having the property. I certainly not going to spend the lawyer fees to collect a real small amount of money, but currently I don't have authorization to just adjust off charges of certain amounts, and I certainly don't want to, because when I start doing this cleaning this year, I don't want to pass it all by the council and burn the council with reviewing all of those accounts. It's an operational thing that should be done in-house. A lot of it is small amounts, and I mean, if it needs to have a report that says it for larger amounts over a certain amount, I'm totally fine with that.
Then we give it to you like once a month, a report, so you see it. Well, if you had a question or.
It makes it hard for me to fix errors in the system and keep track of them and do it in a timely basis if I have to bring it by the council for a decision every single time. So essentially, this is me asking to, be able to pass it by my supervisor for consideration and approval before doing these things, so it's not just me doing it.
Oh, what's your definition of a small amount?
What's my definition of a small amount?
Or should there be a cap on this, a ceiling?
Well, some of these accounts have been neglected for a while, and so I would say anything under 10,000.
It's pretty substantial.
These are
errors?
charges. These are charges, not payments.
Are these errors or disputes?
Could be both.
Is part of it administrative type things because we switched from a file system, manual system to electronic system?
That could have caused some of it. Another thing that could have caused it is mismanagement.
Okay. Is quarterly too often to provide a synopsis of what's happened? Just give us a list of.
No, that's perfectly acceptable.
I think we should consider putting a threshold on what's acceptable for management. Because is there something in the books or ordinance that says basically it has to come in front of the council and
50,000.
It says,
50,000.
what's the say about 50,000?
That is.
Anything over 50,000, the city manager would have to pass by the council.
That's what's in the ordinance already?
Well, I know this is, it's, $11.37 for some little parcel that has been, was either missed or it's types of those things like that where, they're usually small amounts, and there have been several that we've considered, on these cleanups, and it seemed like they were much smaller than we needed to be concerned about.
Well, those are very administrative type things, but a figure of $10,000, that's a little bit different.
What kind of errors or cleanup needs to be done? Like, it's not taxpayers disputing valuations or BOE decisions?
Personal property tax where the person's been deceased over 10 years. And it's just been accruing interest and charges every year, year after year, because they force file it in the system, because that's how personal business property works.
So obvious errors,
Yeah.
not where, there could be some subjective decision making.
Oh, it'd have to, I know for me, I would not want to
Well,
do that.
If it was over,
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
Yeah.
clarify, because I certainly don't want to micromanage.
if it was over a certain threshold, that's the whole purpose for me going to my supervisor.
Sure.
For him to make a decision on, well, no, this needs to be considered on their report, this needs to go before council, no, this is within a reasonable amount for cleanup.
My thing is, if in doubt, goes to the council. In other words, or if it's going to require legal involvement, which costs money, then you kind of have to, okay, it's going to cost me $1,000 to get rid of that. Those kinds of things. But as far as a cap, absolutely, whatever you guys are comfortable with. Then as you see the process, you may want to raise it, you may want to lower it. But I'm comfortable with with a reasonable amount, then I would look at you with
You
what's
said
your
10.
comfort level.
You said 10 is reasonable?
I
10,000?
think that within 10 is reasonable, anything above that, and I'd probably start feeling uncomfortable.
Even with the 10
typically, in things that are close to 10 are typically something that we would include in a financial report to the council from finance anyway.
Well, I'm glad we're cleaning up for sure.
Oh, yeah, it's, it's been left out there for, and Dan brought the information to myself and Nikki a lot of years. And some of it's like estates. People have died. We find, and this is not unusual.
Right.
You'll find tons of it's out there. You know, you'll find mistakes, but some of it, they're gone now. We don't know where they are. They just sit there.
It's a time-consuming and complicated process to make adjustments to accounts if there's any errors that were made. And if it flows into previous years, it's complicated because I can't have anybody in our live system when it happens. I have to wait until they're out of the system, which means I either have to do it when we're not open or before we're open. And so I'm working 6, 7 a.m. to get this work done before we open for the day. Or I'm working on the weekend or after 5
Right.
to clean up these things. And there's only 2 people that know how to do this right now. It's Nikki and I.
And if we set the ceiling too low, something, you know,
Well,
you're
then
gonna
I'm
have
gonna end up
it's gonna
bringing a bunch
really
of stuff
slow
to you.
down the process in terms of the cleanup, and I'm, you know,
It'll
Is that fair?
it'll pile up, and I'll end up bringing
and then
you
we'll have
bunch
a
of
big
gifts.
list of 20 or 30 items. And if, whatever that limit is, you'll provide us, you said
Give
quarterly.
you, if we do it one, at least, well, once a month. Or
can-
what, how often are we actually doing it? Writing off.
Whatever works.
I can create an Excel spreadsheet that kicks out a report that says what it was, who it was, how much it was, and
What the
why.
issue was.
Yeah, that's easy.
I'm fine with 10 grand.
Okay.
And we'll see how it goes if you, you know, and if you, but when we get those, there may be some in question, we could give a little more detail, because there's a lot of similarity, but there's some things that are very unique. And if I question, I'm gonna bring it to you guys.
Do a lot of these errors impact or affect current taxpayers or prior taxpayers, people that have left the community or sold property or?
As I've been taking this on a case-by-case basis, usually existing taxpayers will bring out some of these things, or I'll find it myself. But I found that, I don't know if you recall, there was a couple of properties around the city field that were buildings that were being leased, though the landowner was a separate entity. And, but the person had passed away, and so, like, I mean, who owns it? You know, the landowner didn't want it, the property owner isn't around anymore, but here we've been charging them for something that might not even exist on the property anymore because of force filing. That's the problem with business and personal property tax being declared on your honor, fill out the form and turn it in kind of basis, is that if they don't, it's a force file and it just rolls over from the previous year. The value rolls over. And so we're looking at changing that process and having an assessing firm come in and do those valuations for us so they can actually be accurate on a year-to-year basis instead of, it'll get rid of some of these errors and these problems.
So that force filing is kind of the culprit on a lot of these issues that need to be fixed.
I
On
believe
their
so.
side, yes.
I believe so. I don't think that it was, well,
I've never
we
liked
went
this
from paper.
process anyways.
Yeah, we went from paper to electronic, and a lot of the people that used the paper, they understood that really well. But going to electronic, I think that it was somewhat confusing learning how to use a new system and those types of things.
So one other word you used in your
Resolution?
discussion of this matter was they made an error, they put full value instead of depreciated value. And is that not some issue that other taxpayers have taken up with us? You know, that they're using IRS depreciation, you know, or some other depreciation. And I thought you And maybe it was just exemption, that, that it was tax exempt, for instance. We deal with these people, I wonder, if the utility or the city, are on the list of their assets, and then they should just be putting an exemption number with that. But what about the depreciation? Because I thought it was full value you reported.
They reported full value.
Right, but isn't that,
Well, that's part of the problem, because there's no uniform standard on how you value your personal property.
Typically,
Right, you can, some people use the IRS method, some people use full market value, some people use some other determination, and I think that's one of the things we've talked about in the past, of trying to make that standard so everybody values their personal property in the same way,
Yeah.
instead of, 5 or 10 different ways. Some's depreciated,
And for
some's
the
not.
assessors, it's more to be, the assessors that come in, that's why we're doing an RFQ on this. And of course, our present folks can, send an RFQ, but we're looking for companies, AML's helping me to look at companies in Alaska that do this. And some of it is to start developing a standard, because I don't want to be, even in your seat, going, was that done correctly or not? What was it based on? So you're right.
And that's part of the problem,
a myriad of
because
ways.
taxpayers aren't wrong when they report,
Yeah.
two different identical assets. One taxpayer reports it completely different than another.
Correct.
And they're probably both right,
Yeah.
because there are no uniform assessment rules or whatever you call
Yeah.
it, so. I think that's something that we should take a look at
Aren't
some
you supposed
point.
to write a report current fair market value?
Yes.
Yeah, there's, if you look up what current fair market value is, then that's what you should do. How you get to it is a
And
different.
that's part of when we bring in or add to our assessor, but that's the issue, is when they go and they'll talk with them, how did you come up with this? And work towards, or even kind of educating them on what you need to report to us and how you do it. So there is a standard. It's all over, but I will tell you, this is not uncommon.
You're saying there's a standard in our tax code?
Well, it's current fair market value, so
Yeah.
what we need to do is define current fair market value
Correct.
for somebody to follow, so everybody's following the same terminology.
They have a template of sorts.
IRS also has
Some
current fair market value when somebody passes away. And
Yeah.
you inherit something, you're inheriting that current fair market value, but you gotta be able to have some backing for what you can't just say, oh, I inherit something now, it's $1 million, I'm gonna start appreciating it. You have to have some type of reasoning for your determination.
And our tax code specifies that.
Well, I don't know if, it's specified.
That's what I've heard, it doesn't really specify.
Right, that's
So,
what
in my
that's
opinion,
why
it
we
does
get
not
so
based on
many
what I've
different
read.
values.
okay, but
We
one at a time here. for
need to
people
define
here.
terminology.
Completely
That's-
agree, yeah.
Oh, so getting back to the motion, is that what we're doing?
Yeah, let's hear from the,
So, it's the form itself that asks for, current market value, the declaration form. So that's where I'm not 100% sure if it actually says it in code, but that's an easy code change for us to come up and develop, a definition or a way for them to get a little bit more clarity other than just using the terminology.
it would, and then if we're gonna, be checking on some of these returns, now in the future, we're gonna pull returns and audit them.
That's what we plan to do this fall. So.
Right, so then that's gonna just, that's gonna open this up real big, potentially, as well. So I think we need to get that, get a, whatever the definition is, we need to have written and understood so that everybody's following the same one.
Don't get the cart before the horse.
Yep.
Right, if we audit somebody and there's various ways of determining fair market value, then how can you make the argument? I mean, who's gonna make the argument?
Well, if our auditors are going out and basing it on fair market value, then they can say, okay, what is the difference? So they can have the discussion, it's like Board of Equalization, you have the discussion with them, but it's supposed to be fair market value. But, you know, what I've had auditors do in the past is they gave us, like, if code's gonna change or needs to change, they give us a recommendation, run it by attorneys. And like you said, it's defined, or as you said, it's clear, because it is not clear. And we're really getting everybody on kind of the same train.
I think we need to find those standards prior to start auditing taxpayers.
Yes.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree with that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the resolution.
We had a first and a second. That was the discussion.
Lots of discussion.
Do we want to end this in any way?
Do you want to put the cap in there?
Property.
10 grand?
Yes.
Sorry, I don't
Their
know.
camera made a motion.
Yes.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
And the quarterly, right? And the quarterly
A
report?
quarterly
Some
report.
kind of regular updates,
Yeah.
whether it's monthly or quarterly.
Whatever you
Quarterly's
got.
fine,
Uh,
with all of the adjustments that,
So we can do it after requests in between made, their requests, write-off and adjustment requests up to $10,000. So we're just going to insert that as an amendment?
Yes.
Okay, so that's your amendment.
Yes. That.
Insert 10, insert 10, insert 10.
quarterly.
Okay, all right, so Councilmember Scoia and Councilmember Green. Amendment, please?
Roll call.
Yes, please.
Councilmember Piscoya.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Green.
Yes.
Thank you.
Can I ask a
The
question?
resolution, excuse me,
Oh,
the
sorry.
amendment passes.
How long do you expect this cleanup to take? Are we talking weeks? Are we talking months? Are we talking something else?
The rest of the year,
Rest of the year?
at least. I probably will
Before the
specifically
tax process
target,
starts next year.
I'll specifically target business and personal property tax. I've done okay with the real property.
Mostly personal.
I've spent a lot of time on it already, but yeah, this is, there's the accounts that are still owing balances that I can't get past without some sort of authorization or permission.
Okay, so we, then a roll call please on the resolution as amended.
Resolution is amended. Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Green.
Yes.
Councilmember Piscoya.
Yes.
Thank you. Next is Resolution 250802. Mr., could you read that by title?
Resolution 25-08-02, a resolution authorizing the training of the Nome Joint Utility System Board.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt Resolution 250802?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Councilmember Johnson, Councilmember Green.
Under discussion, why are we voting on this?
Yes.
We're doing well, I didn't know how to do this without, we're doing all of our commissions that really fall directly under the city. And I know when I spoke to your chair, I mentioned it and he said, absolutely be great. But I didn't want to do it without you guys because it really is out of our purview. I wanted to offer it while we're doing the training for these other commissions, authorities, and boards.
I think it's great to have training for everyone, and it has been a number of years, just because it seems like there are, rolling of people, and sometimes when you get one new one, you just, you try to bring them along without going through a formal thing, and certainly going through Robert's rules and all that other stuff, we would use a primer here as well, so.
And the council's next in October in Anchorage. It's
We have-
paid for, and we're not having to pay for it, and you're invited.
I spoke to our attorneys that are paired with the utility board attorneys, the same firm.
Yep.
And Sam Severin agreed to do that training, much like he did for Planning Commission and for the Public Safety Advisory Commission. And tentatively, the board meeting in September is the meeting that we will do that at. I'm not sure of the dates or anything yet, because I have.
October would make more sense, being it's an election year. So, anyway.
Okay,
all
no,
right.
that's fine. I wasn't sure about the time frame, but I can update him with that.
Yeah, and then he can, we can,
If you can give me the date
Get
the
on
board
this.
meeting will be on, and I'll connect him to.
we'll come up with a date, and I don't know that that's something that would be at a board meeting, but it would be a work session. So,
It could be a special session, yeah.
okay,
Work session.
very fine. Roll call, or did we have a motion? Yes, we did.
Yes.
Okay, anything else? Roll call, please.
Roll call. Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Green. Councilmember Square.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
The motion passed.
Thank you. Moving on to citizens' comments. Okay, none. Moving on to utility report. I should have written something like Lee, I like this, and I'll do that in the future. Things are going great down, I think, on the east end of town with the water and sewer project there to get things going for the 6th Avenue, where King Island and Village of Solomon are going to be building. Additionally, in that area, Bering State Housing owns some property, and we're working on a side contract with them to be able to get their services done at the same time. We had a busy week here with inspectors and insurance agents looking at our wind turbines, and the issue with the turbine that has been down. They are taking information, going back to the respective parties, and will report back to us. But we also then had a scheduled maintenance visit on the other turbine, and there were a couple of deficiencies that were discovered in that also will be addressed. The battery system that we have connected to the system was just finally commissioned. We weren't able to do the final tests in the January timeframe because we didn't want to take a chance at losing the load for any reason. In that process, there's a slight issue with getting it into the automation because of the vendor having a firewall into the system as we do, and the making sure or getting whatever that communication link fixed is still an open item. They've had some changes in their people, and that has made it difficult. We've been working with Village of Solomon again, who has some funding available for wind power, or solar power, excuse me. And the first test project that we're going to be doing is a small array on the King Island Native Corporation Hall on 4th Avenue. We have 2 new power plant employees, that being Scott Piana and Marty Rude. And I think that is the highlights. So next time, I'll put it in a written report.
Did you guys, did utilities fire something up unusual today, or fire up on?
For the black smoke?
Yeah.
No, it was just changing of they moved from one engine to the other. And so when they first start it, it's going to give a blast of black smoke out of it, but it should, clear itself within just a couple of minutes.
I did that.
Yeah. So yeah, it was simply a changing from engine to engine. And then I guess the other thing is that as part of the battery, the wind turbines, and the old plant, which is our standby, we're getting that tuned up again with people familiar with the operation of it, and the smaller plant can be used at greater fuel efficiency if when we have the wind and the batteries to support it. So during summers in the future, likely the old plant will run most of the summer. Mr. Manager?
I've given you, so there'll be a few more things at the next meeting, but I wanted to give you more details over the next few weeks over my Nome. We'll go live, remembering that this is gonna be an emergency call out. We're gonna be doing a lot of marketing, going out to groups to get them to sign their cell phone numbers up, doing QR codes so people can do that, put their cell numbers in and we'll, right now, are putting together what we'll send out, wording that goes out for certain things, like a road is cut off or has washed out, tsunami warnings. I don't like to say that, but missing persons. The one thing I'm really excited about in talking to the fire chief and the police chief is in the one before last, the missing person. The one thing we found is we had a lot of volunteers, which was awesome, but you had no way to contact. There were 100 different phones, but now as soon as they come in, they register their number. We have them in a group. We can say, need you to report back, person found, or we need this group to go to 2nd Street, whatever it is. Those things are going to be phenomenal. And I've had some to say, well, when are we going to do where you can call in and report problems? Not till later in the year. I prefer to have a few months to perfect the system and start out. I found you can overwhelm. Made that mistake one time in one of 3 systems. We put too much out too fast. And the other thing is using it for what it's, when we get further along, for meetings, events, to let people know about things. But you also don't want to cry wolf enough. They're like, crap, it's the city again. You know, we want to use it the right way, and you kind of have to test the community. So we're going to need your help too on that, but really excited in the next just a couple weeks, we'll go live with that, and it will be based on the TextMyGov is doing data mining now with all the cell companies. GCI finally relented and said, yes, we'll give you your information. But that information that we'll have, we don't sell it. All it is a phone number. We don't have your name. We don't have, now when we start reporting, they can call in, of course, we're gonna have an address and a name, but that's just a self-reporting system and it's voluntary. You don't have to use it. So we are, really happy about that. We've already talked about the audits, the RFQ. By the way, it is now animal services. I had talked to some of the animal enthusiasts in the community, and they said, animal control sounds authoritative. And I went, okay. And they said, we would like to hear it say that we're animal friendly and animal services. So we're officially in August calling it animal services. And I'm glad to do that for them. So we'll start using that language. We also, I've been in contact with 4 different cities, city managers and administrators in Alaska about our animal services ordinance. It's outdated. There's a lot of things that don't apply. I also have been talking with the state of Alaska as far as wildlife management to delineate what's domestic, what's wild, how is it handled in the city. Because we all know, things can happen, but we need to have standards. And I do not believe, in my opinion, we have sufficient standards of handling certain issues. And it can be a wild dog. A rabid dog, could be anything. How are we going to do that? It's not clear. So we don't just an ordinance, we need standard operating procedures. So it's my goal to have that done before October 1st, and it will be in your hands, and there will have to be a hearing for the ordinance, if I'm not mistaken, Mayor. So to look at that, but I'm looking at doing away with, not an edit. Let's rewrite the whole thing. I started marketing went, this is confusing, let's start over. So AML's working with me on that, well, as our attorney, so we'll be bringing that back. And we get a lot of calls about animals, domestic and otherwise. The revenue menu we're gonna be bringing to you, and we're gonna have to do some education on that for us to understand what are the impacts, how hard is it to do, is it worth doing? I will tell you, even going back to the animal ordinance, do we really need animal license? I will tell you, I've done away with some. The rabies tag was the license. So I feel a little bit like we're duplicating, so we're gonna be talking about that with some folks. Sometimes this is not gonna not set well, but I sometimes, as government, kind of go a few steps too far. Sometimes we need to step back and make it easier. I think step over themselves. When we already have a process in place, why double it? And let's just make it easier and easier on the people actually doing these things. I am really excited about the starting this month, the employee performance and appraisal process. We do not have one, we do now. So I'm starting with department managers, walking them through the process. This for every city employee, they will have a work program. Do you need training? If you're having a problem somewhere, we need to help you do something. And I've told my folks, appraisals are not once a year, every day. And you need to meet with your people annually, but you need to do it every 6 months. And maybe just go do a check-in, being out with your folks. And we don't have a lot of people, so this should not be a huge deal. Giving people expectations. And that's the thing I find in my years. People can't do if they don't know what the expectation is. And in our case, I think we have that issue in talking with our departments. So this also will be tied to the potential for any increases if budgeted by council. You can get certain levels of increases based on how well you do. And I think merit appraisals to me are the fairest way. I know we talk about cost of living, I will tell you, and I will say it now, and people can be angry. I'm not a big proponent of cost of living. I believe it should be based on the job we commit to. If somebody needs to be reclassified based on their job duties and given more, sure, let's look at that. So I get criticized that for some or by some, in the past, but I think we have to have a reason why we give increases. And we need to be able to justify that to the public who paid the bill. So I'm excited about that. I know some are a little nervous because it's new, but that's all right. We have to manage our people, and I have, I manage my individuals. So I'm, excited about that. And I'll share with you the process and how it's going. So my goal is to have all employees completed before October 1st. And that's going to, I will tell you, with myself, I'll be doing in the spring a 360, and that is, and maybe in connection with your, Mr. Mayor, for the council myself, I also will be asking our team members to evaluate me. So you get this and this. It's not easy. It's not always easy to hear criticism, but I think it's great for growth. And for me, I encourage it and would hope, you guys would take that on. It makes me feel better about my job. And once people get used to it, I think it will help our employees, our team members, feel better about what they're doing. They know what's expected. And we treat everybody as best we can. We're fair, and we apply the rules the same. And I think people need to know that. And all departments should be different. We should have the same process. Standardized. So I'm excited about that. There's your training in October. We'll get your dates out. And looking forward to flying over there with you to Anchorage and getting all trained up with the council. I probably need to be here too.
All right, moving on to council member comments then. Is this something new to list people from least senior to most senior in order?
I listed them. Can I put them in order?
Go me. I wasn't sure what I missed, so. Councilman Green, would you like to go first?
I'm I'm just happy to hear about the upcoming plans. My Nome's pretty awesome. And we have the EPA coming this week, so it's been a while since they've been here. So they're gonna be inspecting people.
We got the landfill inspections in the next 30 days.
Yep. Okay, great, thank you. Councilmember Piscoya.
No comments, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Henderson.
No comments.
Okay. And Councilmember Johnson.
Nothing for me today.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on, then a quick little mayor's comment report. It's been a little busy around here with various visitors, either coming, not coming, changing their plans, and us trying to be, responsive to it. I'm still optimistic that we're going to see something come. What that will be, I don't know, but there I believe is internal movement at the core. So hopefully they're getting a good evaluation and we can see a contract. Along that line, also having various folks that may have an interest from the defense side of things in town and the government. This Saturday we had about 25 people, I think, from with the acting commandant of the Coast Guard.
39, I
Okay.
counted.
Okay, 39 people that was in town. He also then had two representatives from Republican representatives from various authorizing committees that were in town as well. And they were pretty impressed, I think, by the community and the activity and the plans, and recognize that the Arctic is someplace where things are happening and that they need to be here. So looking forward to continued discussions with the Coast Guard on what their activities can very well look like. And then at this moment, Joy is meeting herself, and she'll do a wonderful job. Planes were full. She's meeting with the Secretary of Transportation and Senator Sullivan. And that is going to be discussions as well with regard to port, airport, etc. So lots of exciting things, I think, happening in our community and in our future. And it's great when these people want to come and visit us, see it firsthand, and not be making determinations, from way back east or the like. So I appreciated the efforts by everybody to make this happen. Thanks to Lee and to Angie for a lot of coordination, and it's been an exciting time. So also thank you to Councilmember Johnson for chairing the last few meetings here. Had a couple other issues that didn't allow me to attend, but I'm back. So now I've just run this meeting an hour when you guys have been able to do it in 30 minutes. So
If I'll shut up.
if there's nothing else, the meeting is adjourned, and thank you. It is 7:58. Yeah.